Greetings gamers, FiOth here, and in this video I'm gonna break down the Lubu fight that many of you might be struggling with. I'll be honest, this was the first fight that gave me any trouble. I made short work of pretty much all the bosses, but this sucker here had me on stream fighting him for like 30 minutes. So, there are many builds that you can employ. There are many kinds of gear that you might be using. I'm gonna go through the logic of how to fight this boss. So whatever you might be using will prove effective against him. This is not a perfect run by any means. I scraped by the skin of my teeth, but I'm not one of those people who plays the battle again and again until they get a perfect victory against the boss. I'm a content creator, I have to make vids, so I just have to keep going. What you want to do here, the boss has unblockable attacks both when standing and when on horseback. Those are the breaker attacks, the red attacks, the attacks with the aura like this one. What you need to learn to do, and you have to learn to do it the hard way, is punish those telegraphed attacks. That's one and very, very important. Until you understand how to handle those attacks, you're gonna see the death screen a lot of times. That is number one. Number two, whenever he pulls out his bow on horseback, he will kind of break with his lance so he can shoot from the horseback. On foot, he'll do just this animation here. He can fire once, he can fire twice, either with normal arrows or with flame arrows. You want to be dodging forward, so you will be deflecting the arrows whilst closing the gap and getting closer to the boss to deal damage as punishment. This attack that you just saw, where he just scrapes the halberd on the floor and comes for you, is the most difficult to punish because you don't have a clear indication of when he's going to actually try to hit you. He keeps scraping the ground, and at some point he just pulls up and comes in to crush you. Can be very, very annoying, but it is what it is, and you have to learn to block it. As you can see here, this jump with the horse is much more manageable. You won't have too much trouble with this if you are careful. Here's the break I was talking about and firing from horseback. When you have the ability to punish the horse, to drop him off, do a couple of hits and then follow up with a spirit attack. This is your triangle on PlayStation, your Y on Xbox, because that will shorten the horse's spirit gauge and you will have an easier time of depleting what's left. Other piece of advice, do not be overly aggressive. You cannot stagger him unless you break his spirit. And to break his spirit, you have to use spirit attacks to shorten the bar and then punish and retaliate. As you can see here, I'm summoning my Divine Beast. My Divine Beast in this case can also poison him, but you might be using whatever. This is not a build specific vid. It's advice on how to handle him because he is a pain in the ass. So use your Divine Beast on the second phase because I noticed he's a tad more aggressive. It might be my imagination, I'm not saying this 100%, but after he gets on horseback once and then he comes off of the horse, he tends to be a bit more aggressive and use fire attacks more often. So use the Divine Beast to get a small edge on him in this case. Last but not least, do not go into combat until you have 20 out of 20 fortitude. That means you found all the flags. This is because if you have to try again, you will be in a lot of pain starting with less fortitude than the boss. That's it. Sub, like, share, hit the notification bell if you found this useful. I'll be covering everything in Wulong. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!